Today we're going to be repairing a Thule flow cargo box. This cargo box has experienced a crack in the center of the lid. It always adds a degree of difficulty when the crack goes all the way to the edge. The reason being is that the cargo box separates and doesn't hold itself together. So we're going to use a method to pull it back together so that when we do the repair, the crack is bound together. We also have a crack at the center hinge, and we must remove that so we can repair the area on the inside of the cargo box. To do that, we're taking a small screwdriver and removing the plastic caps. Then we're going to drill out just the tops of these rivets so that the center hinge will fall out. We're paying special attention not to let the rivets spin inside the plastic. The reason being is that it'll create heat and then allows the rivet to push through and make a large hole. Here we're just taking the center hinge to the vise and drilling out the remaining part of the rivet. There is a backing washer on this center hinge. If it happens to fall out, you just knock the plastic tabs off and then use an aluminum backing washer. You can either grab the back of the rivet with a needle nose pliers or on the outside of the rivet. Typically when you grab the outside, the aluminum rivet crushes. The downside to doing this is you can potentially drill off the tip of your needle nose pliers. If you need to know how to remove the cargo box lid, watch some of our other videos on how that is done. Now we're going to work on pulling the crack together by using a wire fencing method. We're going to drill 2 holes about 1 inch from the crack perpendicular to the crack on each side. We want to avoid drilling our holes too close to the edge. We want to have room to be able to do a slight repair between these holes that we create and the top. We'll notice that later on in this repair. It may seem counterintuitive drilling holes into a busted cargo box, but this is the method we need to do to be able to pull it together. There is the duct tape method, but that potentially will slip during the curing process of this repair. What I've done is taken a piece of wire, bent it in a U shape, and brought the leads to the outside and just lightly twist them together. Now I'm taking a pair of pliers and twisting it together. This far we're only trying to get it close. We're not looking to seal up the gap just yet because the crack goes much farther down. We need to drill about 3 or 4 more holes or sets of holes before we can start tightening them all down. It's just a slow process of tightening each one individually as we go around. If the method doesn't work at first, just cut out the wire and redo it. Here we're just doing the same process lower down. Once we get a look on the inside, it'll make sense why I'm placing this where I am. I'm going a couple inches back for where they all meet. That way I can tighten up each branch individually. As you can see here, I'm tightening it lightly, but also feeling on the inside so that as I'm doing this, the crack is coming together smoothly or in the right position and not going away from each other or crossing over each other. Here you can see I broke the wire. That's not a big deal. All we do is just pull this wire out and put a new one in. The reason that one broke is because the wind up of the wire got too close to one of the holes. You want the twist part to be right in the center so that it doesn't start falling into one of the holes, and that's typically where it'll break. The second time through, it's smooth. Now we have an added problem with this one. It's pulling apart from front to back, but it's also pulling apart from side to side. See, as I push my fingers together, you can see how we want to get it to pull together from the side to side version. As you can note here, the last one that I did, it's about an inch from the intersection of all the cracks. And then I'm doing the same also here, about an inch from all the intersections. When using the wire method, you can use one of the two methods or the combination of that. And those combinations would be either feeding the leads from the inside out or feeding the leads from the outside in. Both have their advantage. If it's up near the edge of the cargo box, it's easier to work with it going from outside in because I can easily twist them on the outside. But that does not work when you get farther to the center of the cargo box, because now it is underneath the cargo box and makes it extremely hard to twist the wires because it is out of sight. So in that method, we would go outside up. There are two reasons why I tape over the rivet holes. One is so that when I peel the tape back, I can clearly see where to drill it out again, and also so it doesn't allow the solvent cement to drip down the outside of the box. Also, the piece up higher above the crack has its reason also. Here I've taken a Sharpie and highlighted where the crack is. For this repair, we're going to be using a large MammothMend repair kit. It consists of one 16-ounce solvent cement container with added UV inhibitors and elastomers to add strength and flexibility to the repair. Also within the repair kit is a 12-inch by 24-inch fiberglass mesh and 2 pairs of protective gloves. Now I'm going to pre-cut the fabric. You'll note I'm cutting a few small pieces. What this is going to do is go between the wires. We will place these between the wires with the solvent cement, let it cure, and then we can come back in 24 hours, cut out the wires, and the patches will hold the box in place, and then we will patch over all of it at that point. Now we're ready to start the repair process. I'm making sure that I have everything in place before I begin, and also wearing gloves, a respirator, and eye protection. First you put down the solvent cement, typically a little larger than what the fabric is. Placing the fabric, and now tucking it in all the crevices of the cargo box and the shape of the cargo box. And then just reapplying some of the solvent cement on top of that. My objective is to get all the wrinkles out, so when I take the dauber, I start at the inside of the fabric and move it out so that it's constantly stretching it. Here we're just going to use a few of the patches. As I mentioned earlier, that's going to take the place of the wires once we cut the wires out. This may not seem like it's going to hold much, but it does an amazing job of holding the box in place. Once again, on the paddle, I'm using the radius edge rather than the 90-degree edge so that I don't catch the fabric on the corner. It's a great method for smoothing it out. Now we're going to work on the edge. So I'm actually putting some of the solvent cement on the back of the duct tape so that it will get on the back of the fabric. The reason I'm doing this is that when I remove the duct tape, we will have a solid and stiff piece of fiberglass cured so that I can just run a razor blade across the edge of the cargo box and I have a smooth finish. And then all I need to do is daub a little bit of the solvent cement on top to cover up the very edge. And just that easy, it's first process is done. Now I'm showing you how fast this cures. Granted, this is in double time, but this is moving very fast. And you can see there that little bit at the end, that's the only part that was showing. Here we are 24 hours later. As I just mentioned, here's the duct tape on the outside, and I can easily take a razor knife, cutting it off. We have found that our results are much cleaner when we go beyond the cargo box and cut it off rather than trying to get the fabric up to the edge of it. Here you can see I'm just cutting off as close as I can to the holes. And I've taken some orange paint and highlighted the wires so you can see where I'm working. Just taking a flat nose pliers and pulling them through. Next, we're going to take a razor knife and shave down any high points that remain. Be very, very careful. Once these fiberglass sets with the solvent cement, it will very easily cut you. That's why I'm wearing a pair of gloves. And using my hands, even though through the gloves, I can feel the high points of where to shave it. And now we're just going to repeat the process. Ideally, I would have put another piece of duct tape up higher here and then shaved it off again, but this step I did not do that. If I was to go back and do it again, I would do that. And now we're just covering up all the wire holes that we created. And also adding another coat to everything from the first round. Once we're done with this, we're going to shave it again. And then we're near completion. If you like, you can add as many coats of the solvent cement as you like, and also the fiberglass. Now just note that the top lid does go over the bottom lid, and if we build it up too much, there'll be interference. Here we're just removing the duct tape so we can see the holes that are left from the rivets. And we can also see how our crack's going to look on the outside. Now we're going to install the center hinge. Note that all the hardware that we're going to use for this is going to be aluminum, which doesn't rust in any climate, whether it's salt, mag chloride, or just general environment. This is the pull down strap, and this actually goes up rather than down when you install it. That way it's not constantly falling into the pocket and getting in the way and jamming up everything. Now the newer boxes have gone away from the pull down strap just for that fact that it jams up the cargo box. Here we're just doing a common rivet, pushing the two together with my left and right hand. On this next one, we need to use the washer. If you need to know how to take the lid on and off from the base of the cargo box, either visit our YouTube channel or go to MammothMend.com, where we have all the different styles of boxes and how to take the lids on and off. And here is the final result of our repair. With the fiberglass mesh inside the cargo box, it makes it stronger than the rest of the box, and you will never have any problems in this area ever again. Now, with someone's help, flip the lid of the cargo box over and reassemble the cargo box. And that completes another repair. If you ever have questions, you can always contact us through our website at MammothMend.com.